It seems like one of our pair, David's deer, has grown up, and we now have 2 adults, so they've just been fighting. That's so bad. Okay, I'm going to send them to quarantine, and then the vet should treat them in the vet surgery. So our main adult won the fight. But the poor thing, he's been injured. This little bubba here. I think they get like scratches and stuff as well when they've been fighting, if they are injured. But I can't see any on him, so I guess if I can't see anything, he's probably not too badly injured. But anyway, the vet's going to take him now. We've got the caretaker taking him to quarantine, and then the vet will have a nice look at him in the vet surgery and make sure he's okay. And then we can probably just release him into the wild. Anyway, though, while they have a look at them, I think we need to continue our zoo this way. We've got this huge space here, and I want to have a nice mixed habitat in the space. And there are 4 lemurs I'd like to put in it. So if we have the ring-tailed lemur in here, you can see if we go on interspecies enrichment, they also want to share their habitat with these other animals here. So we've got the black and white ruffed lemur, which are critically endangered, as well as the ring-tailed lemur that are endangered. And then we've got the red ruffed lemur that are also critically endangered. And we have, oh no, the one I can't pronounce, Gharial's sifaka, that are critically endangered as well. I have to look up how to say them. But they're critically endangered. So that's 3 critically endangered species and 1 endangered species that can all share one habitat and be happy together. So that's definitely something we need to be doing. These guys live in groups of 2 to 6. It's up to 5 males and 5 females. They're in matriarchal groups. So there's basically 1 dominant female, and you can have a mixed group, and the dominant female will decide who mates, I think. They're also neutral with humans, so we don't have to worry too much about them being shy. That's good. Now, the ring-tailed lemurs live in groups of 3 to 30. Wow, okay. And they're also matriarchal, so they live in family groups of up to 30 individuals. And they're also neutral, so again, not too shy. Then we've got the black and white ruffed lemurs, that live in groups of 2 to 16. They're also neutral, and they're matriarchal. I think all lemurs are probably matriarchal, which means it's actually really helpful because they're not going to fight if we have mixed groups of multiple males and multiple females, because the female will just keep everyone in line, basically. And then finally, the red ruffed lemurs are 3 to 30. Matriarchal. So basically it's like a minimum of 3, I think, across the board. Or maybe the first one was 2, but it's pretty much, as long as we've got 3 lemurs of each species, they're absolutely fine. Now let's say we've got 5 adults and 5 babies of these guys. They're gonna want 262 meters squared of land and 46 meters squared of climbing. Now for these, we can use, as long as we've got 3 meter wide water that's at least 1 meter deep, they can't get out, which is really interesting. We could consider that for these guys. And the ring-tailed lemurs are exactly the same, as are the black and white ruffed lemur. And then the Gharial's sifaka have slightly higher requirements. So they're 345 meters squared and 90 meters squared. It says grade 2 climb proof. So I don't think that they can be separated with water. I think they would be able to get out. They must be able to swim. So we can't just block it off with water, but that's absolutely fine. It's effectively, we need climb-proof walls taller than 3 meters. And that's not too difficult to do. And it looks like our deer is done in quarantine, so let's release them into the wild. So our combined habitat barrier requirements were 1,131 square meters of land that these guys need. And they don't need any water, although we're going to put a little bit of water in for them. So if we say maybe we're going to have like 1,250 as a requirement. If we're doing 1,250, because we're trying to make the habitat as ethical as possible, I'm going to double that and give them 2,500 square meters. And that should be plenty of room for them when we put nature in and we put other things that might obstruct their land a little bit. Plus, we need to make sure we give them plenty of climbing enrichment, as they all had a climbing enrichment requirement, but we can get to that when we actually build the climbing enrichment and make sure that there's enough space for them in there. So I think the best way to start is to just lay out the habitat. If we're using the barriers, we want to use the tall habitat gate, and probably we want to put this as close to this edge as possible. So I'm actually going to move our solar panel slightly. I think it's better that we delete this path and put it kind of as close to the path as we can get it. If we remove it from the group, we can put it like here. And then it's much closer and less in the way. And then this can just be moved over it again. And that looks pretty good to me. Now, let's build on the barrier. So if we select the barriers, we can put a wooden habitat gate in. Probably... Which area is quicker? This... If the keeper hut is there, either way is fine, actually. So maybe we put the habitat gate further away from where the guests are. And that way it's a bit more out the way, isn't it? And then I'm going to use null barriers to just mark out the whole habitat here. And for that, I want to have it on multiples of 4 so that we can use the 4-meter grid when we're placing the barrier pieces in here. So I'm just going to lay this out now. Okay, 2,784. That seems good to me. That's probably a good size for them. So let's change this barrier here to just be null, because we want the whole thing to be null barrier, and we're going to build in our own barriers. And I think for this, I want to use something similar to what we've got over here, because all of our lemurs here are from Africa. So I know they're kind of in the wrong place, but I just really wanted to get them in here. And I feel like it can still work quite well, because I have a plan for this habitat that's going to make it a bit special anyway. So it can be a signature habitat on its own. And then next to the butterflies here as well, that are kind of many regions, as well as Asia. They're from multiple regions. So I think it works to have this entrance here before we go into the Asia zone. It's got something a bit different, just like we did at the start over here with like the South America. Had a small little South America zone. So I'm going to use the same kind of style that we had in the Africa area, but it's also very similar to what we've got here with the Indonesian pieces. So I think we can come up with something that looks quite good. Oh my goodness, we just got a spot fine as well for an injured animal. Who's injured? Let's pause it. Is it one of our otters or our tapirs? Oh my goodness, we have a baby tapir that's grown up. We do. Oh no. Okay. So we've got... Who are you related to? Your current mate is them. You have an unknown father. Okay, so that's fine. But they've injured the male because there's 2 females. Okay. And you're the daughter. Okay, okay. So the daughter's grown up. We need to release you into the wild. And then our male tapir is going to need some TLC. Let's take them to the vet. Oh my goodness, I can't believe we've had so many babies. I'm just going to double check our animals here and just make sure we haven't got any grown-up babies. No, I think we're okay. It's quite hard to check, but I think we're okay. I'm pretty sure we're fine with what we have. So they should all be good now. And now we've got this in, let's lay out the barriers for this. So if we're going to use, I think if we want to use unclimbable stuff and we want it to be eco-friendly, really we've got to go with the organics, which is basically going to be the mud pieces that we have here. But that also fits in with the Africa quite well, like the theme for Africa. So I don't think that's too bad. And then we just need to align it so that it's aligned up with our grid here. So if we have that there, what I'm going to do is design 2 pieces. One that is a windowed piece that guests can see through, and one that is a solid piece that we can have around here where guests don't really need to see through it. And then what we can do is we can decorate these up and then duplicate them, and it saves us having to decorate all the pieces individually. So I'm going to do that now. I knew that I wanted lemurs to feature heavily in this design, and these signs are just exactly what I was looking for, so I was super happy with these. And then I did want a thatched roof on this just to make it a bit more interesting from the top. But I didn't really like the look of the eaves on their own because they didn't really hang off the wall pieces in a way that I liked until I decided, oh, why don't we just do like an awning and we can have bamboo support beams. And then I was really happy with what it came up with because it basically gives a bit more shelter to the guests as well. So it's a 2-in-1 design. Okay, I think that's pretty reasonable. We've got a couple of different ones that are like decorated up here. They're thick wall panels. And then we've got a nice window one. And I think it's just been more interesting to have some bamboo and thatched roof. So we've gone for a different variant on this. And I like having a bit of shade along the walkway. So I think that's something different we can try with this. Oh, and just as it starts to rain, I guess it's rain cover as well. Now, if we select all of these, we can now just duplicate these where we want them. And I think I'm going to do it so we've got like little viewing areas here. So I'm going to make sure I turn on grid height as well, actually, and duplicate this. And then that should be the same height across the board. Yeah, I think that is. Oh my goodness, it's snowing. I'm going to pause it so we don't get too much snow. And then I'm going to duplicate these across. So I want nice viewing areas in here, though. Okay, I think that's what we're going to have to go with. Annoyingly, because we have to have a solar panel here, which is so annoying. We can't really have the thatched roof with like the border along here, but I think that's fine. And what I'm going to do is just slightly adjust where this seating is because I don't want it to be like blocking the view of the lemurs. So I think we'll have a couple here and then we'll move them. They can probably sit here instead. Like this is a good spot for the benches over here where no actual habitats are. And we could also do with some donation bins. So I'm going to put one in the middle of each of these little viewing areas so that they're nice and convenient for guests to get to. Now, I'm wondering if we've got any issues. We haven't had any animal warnings, which I think means that all of our habitats are prepared for snow, which is awesome. And look how much snow we have. That's beautiful. Look at the whole wetlands area in the snow. That's so cool. I do love the snow. It doesn't snow very long on this map. That's the thing. I mean, it's kind of good for animals because a lot of them don't want it, but it doesn't snow very long, thankfully. I'm going to delete all of these that I used to build this as well. It was just helpful to have them separate so I can duplicate them in. And I think this kind of works. We just need a door here. So if we go into our options here, I think we can very easily add a little door frame in. And that should fit pretty well. And then this is complete. This habitat should work. It's taller than 3 meters and it's climb proof. So let's look at getting our lemurs. Uh-oh, just as I say that, we've got animal welfare issue. Ah, yeah, you're out. You need to just move into the warmth, my friend. Stop climbing on rocks. You're too slow to climb on rocks. Oh my goodness, look how many of them there are. Yeah, it's much warmer over here. We've got all the heaters and stuff here. So actually, let's put you in the piping hot zone over here to warm up. And then I'm sure your welfare will go through the roof. You're just very cold, bless you. There we go. Temperature's going rapidly up. There we are. We can always put another heater in the corner if we need to. But the water itself is warm, so that kind of would heat the area anyway. All right, let's get our animals in here then. If we reset our filters, let's go for a ring-tailed lemur first. Whoa, there's loads of these. And we're probably going to want them from Frontier Zoo. I'm thinking let's get 5. So if we filter by appeal, we're going to want the best ones we can get here. Probably these. I don't want to get any leucistic or albino ones because we're going to be breeding them. And really, you want to breed in ones that have a better chance of surviving in the wild. I think this one's got better set of traits. Oh, we should look at their ages, actually. So Zoopedia, these guys live to 16. Okay. Well, they live to 21, but they can breed until 16, actually. So 7 is okay. 7's not bad. We could go with that. 7, 8 years old. That's all good. This one's 6 as well. Just want to make sure we're using good genes where possible. So there's one male here. And this male's also pretty good. They're very fertile, and it's just their size that's a little bit small. But we don't mind them being a little bit small. So let's get a couple of males, and then if we can just filter by female, we can see what females we have. Oh, there aren't any females for these. Right, okay. Well, we'll keep waiting on that then. Let's get the second one then, which is going to be the black and white ruffed lemur. And these, we've got 4 females available. So let's buy a peel. It's going to be these guys. They're actually all the same. 2362. They're just older and younger than each other. That's hilarious. And slightly different makeup of genes though. Okay, well, the one with 0 longevity we're not going to get. I think maybe we get the other 3 male. The 3 females, though, the other ones. And then we just leave the one that's got 0% longevity, because that's not really, that's not really good, is it? And then if we look for the males for the black and white ruffed lemur, we take off female. It's just 1 and it's very expensive, so we'll leave that for now as well. Seeing as the black and white ruffed lemur are happy with a group size of 2, we've got 3 females. Let's put the 3 of them into our quarantine and we can get them into the habitat. Let's send them to quarantine all the way over here. And let's also just check up on what our guests think. So they're pretty happy with it. They just don't like the weather. That's not bad. And the zoo ticket price is good. Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to leave it where it is, honestly. We're kind of rocking it right now. We've got a 5-star. It's just guest happiness. So I don't want to make it more expensive because that'll take down their happiness. I think this is pretty good. We're doing quite well. And there's a couple of things that are vandalized, but we can easily replace those. This zoo is really shaping up. There's also a male black and white ruffed lemur that's just come onto the market. So let's grab them as well. And at least then we've got 1 male and 3 females. I'd rather keep the ratio to more like... I wouldn't want 4 females and 1 male. I feel like that's a bit too much. Seeing as there aren't any female ring-tailed lemurs, I think maybe we get another male. And then we've got 3 males and we can get 2 females in here. Ah, there's a female. Just as I say that, females come onto the market. Okay, perfect. Well, let's get these 2. They both seem good. Yeah, let's get both of them. And then we could get the other male here. Oh, no, there's 0% immunity. Yeah, we don't want that. And this one's 17. Maybe we get this one just to have a few more. So we've got 5. We have 3 males and 2 females. Because I believe only one of them's going to mate anyway, so it shouldn't make a massive difference. And there's another male black and white ruffed lemur, so let's get them as well. And now we should have 5 of each. If we take all the filters off, we've got 3 male ring-tailed lemurs and 2 females. And then we've got our 3 black and white ruffed lemurs are already in quarantine and our 2 males. Perfect. Well, let's send all of these through quarantine. And then when they're passed, we can put them into the habitat. Oh no, we've got a disease here. And the bird habitat, they're always getting disease. It's because they poo so much and there's so many of them that even though the keeper comes to clean, it's never really enough. Oh my goodness, look at all their food though. Now they've got level 3 food. That's awesome. Well, I've quarantined the one that is sick here. I think they're the only one. So thankfully, we've avoided a massive issue. And they'll basically just go through the vet and then they'll come out the other side and be back in here. So that's what we want. Speaking of vet, how's their research going on the butterflies? Ooh, they're doing a pretty good job. That means we've unlocked the next level of enrichment for them. Awesome. Okay, well, let's put that in. We're over here. They have nectar feeder, ripe fruits, and sugar water dish. But now we can also put in milkweed. That's the poisonous plant that they eat to be poisonous. So we've got milkweed, budleia. Where's that? Oh, there. We've already put that in. So props for getting the right plants, right? And potted trees. Oh, cool. Potted trees. All right, well, let's add them in to all of them. Oh my goodness. There's a critical infection that's been undiagnosed. What is happening with all the disease? That's going to be top priority. That could be fatal for them. Where are the people? I'm going to call the vet and the keeper, but the quarantine should be quicker because, yeah, the caretaker can grab them now and run them in. Other than that, it's just our quarantine's being passed now, so that's good. Put them into quarantine. And then we can evacuate quarantine with our lemurs because they're going to be filling it up. Let's move you into Habitat 39. That's going to be renamed to Lemurs. Oh, we're going to quarantine the other vet. I can't believe we had a massive disease outbreak. Okay, well, at least, well, the vet's already been called here, so they should be cleaning up this place. And the vet's just come and collected another deer, I think, that could be sick. My goodness. They got all of them. No, okay, most of them are fine. It's just that there was a bit of disease risk. I thought our staff were really well trained up and managing everything. Oh, you need to be better trained. Okay, you're the only one that's not trained up. Other than that, basically all staff are 5 stars. You would have thought that they'd be fine. I'm just going to put our security guards might as well be trained up. Like, we're doing fine money-wise. Let's just train everyone up. And the vendors as well. The vendors just earn more money if you train them up because they work for longer and they make more sales and stuff. So that's worth doing. Oh no. All of these guys need quarantining. There's definitely a disease outbreak in the bird habitat. We could probably do another quarantine building. Just wondering if we can weather this. It's just unfortunate it's hit at the same time that we've got our lemurs going into the habitat. But I think there's enough space now that they're finished in quarantine. That's the final 2 lemurs. And everyone else is, like, all the sick animals can finally enter there. Speaking of, they must be arriving in the habitat soon. Oh, here they are. Oh my goodness, here they are. That was perfect timing. Yeah, we've moved them out already. Cool. Well, let's see these guys arrive. Hopefully this habitat is good enough for them. Oh my goodness, what has happened here? Oh my goodness. What is that? Why would that be on such an angle? Oh, it's from the other bamboo. Okay, these need like lowering slightly. But actually, no, the whole wall needs raising up. I don't know why this is lower. That's so strange. Okay, I'm going to do that before the lemurs enter the habitat because I just find that really odd. Right, let's move it and then slightly raise it up to there. That's what it should be. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, that works. Let's see our lemurs arrive. They're all going to be stacked on top of each other. Oh, we got one of each. Black and white ruffed lemur and a ring-tailed lemur. Look at them. It's King Julian. And the black and white ruffed lemur are awesome. Right, let's have a look at them. They are not happy. Yeah, you're not going to be. I'm assuming they want it pretty similar. Yeah, they want pretty similar habitats. So if we pause the game, let's make this terrain correct for them. And I also want to mix it up a little bit. They like to climb and stuff. So let's add some variance in this. Because otherwise, it's very flat here. And I feel like they'd want an interesting habitat. Now, I want to leave a kind of flat area over here if possible. So I'm going to be focusing on moving this terrain out here. And I don't want to make it too tall that they can jump out either. But I do want to have some interest. There we go. I feel like that's good. We've got more of the soily areas around here, and then there's a bit more grass around the water and on this, like, hill we have for them. And then basically all the areas they'd walk all the time have more soil on them. So this area is going to be more widely used, I've decided. The main issue for them right now is that they don't have climbing area, but I just want to double check that they can't escape. So it says that they can here. It says that they can leave the habitat by walking out. And I'm wondering whether that's because of where our barriers are versus the wall. Yeah, it's because they can technically, like, the glass isn't set back far enough on these 3 panels for where the barrier is. So I'm just going to move it back slightly. Because it won't make a difference visually, but it will mean that the glass is, like, much closer here. And then it should read as a barrier before the edge of the actual, like, blue barriers we've got here. So it says that they can't break out now. Now we've done that, they can't break out, which is perfect. They can fully walk on everything. That's what we want. And they can't get out. So right now, they're just basically not enjoying it because they don't have the space that they need. They need climbing area and they don't have it. So let's put some climbing area in for them. And for the climbing area, I did what I love to do, which is to combine the climbing area with their bedding, because these shelters are climbable and you can create some really cool like towers that go up really tall with them. So I've just done that and extended any wooden beams down to the floor so they actually be supported. And then I did add in a couple of little play areas where they've just got some smaller climbing enrichment. So it's not just walking around on structures. They've got some more fun stuff to play on as well. Like I really like the colored bridges. So I definitely wanted to use them in this design. Okay, I feel like that is a lot of climbing enrichment. Let's check out what they think, though. Yeah, 446 meters squared is probably enough for them. Seeing as they currently need 48, that's probably good. And it's given them loads of land area as well, so this place is massive for them. But that's good, because they've got 3 different species, and we want them to share peacefully and, you know, enjoy being together. Oh my goodness, we've got Q fever. Right. Let's get these guys taken care of. I'm going to double check quarantine, because if I click on them, it won't take me to them. Yes, they are in quarantine. Oh, there's a ring-tailed lemur here that we've missed. Right, well, let's move you over. They all need to go to the vets, though. And unfortunately, I imagine the vets is quite busy right now. Oh, there's a little baby bird. Yeah, so the vets is quite busy. But we will get through everyone. We'll make sure we do a good job and get everyone treated. Ooh, and we haven't assigned anyone to this habitat, so we do need to do that. Now that they're in here, let's put them in the work zone. So they're going to be in the Asia zone, just because it's that side of the zoo. And then they're going to go in maintenance 3, again, because it's on this side of the zoo. That makes sense to me. And look at them, just chilling. Oh my goodness, he's doing the classic pose. They're going to need some nature in here, though, because right now they've got nothing. And I imagine, yeah, they want high nature, don't they? They're big into their nature, the lemurs. They want a little jungle in here. Oh, one of them's got the piano. Oh, my goodness, that's amazing. That's brilliant. Oh, I love it. Ooh, it looks like this one's an outsider, outside of the gender ratio. Did they have a different... Oh, it's 1 male for the black and white ruffed lemur. How did I miss that? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that's not good. Right, well, we need to sort that out. There's 2 males here, and we've... Yeah, okay. Right, genetics-wise, this one is that versus where's the other male? This one. This is the other male. He is not as good. Okay, well, let's... Unfortunately, I think let's release you into the wild. Yeah, we only want 1 male. That's fine. We'll have 4 black and white ruffed lemurs then. It's just the ring-tailed lemurs that are happy with anyone, right? Oh, this says the same. How have I misread the Zoopedia so badly? Wait, hold on. Oh, it says there as well, 1 male and 29 females, but they're matriarchal. Oh, Oh, it must have just been the first one I looked at, and then I saw matrilineal, and I thought they were all the same. Oh my goodness, that's such an error. Okay, that's fine, though. We're just going to get rid of our males, and then we're going to need probably another female ring-tailed lemur. Ring-tailed. We can get there. We can get there. We just need a female. Oh, there's no females. Okay, well, that's okay. In the meantime, we're going to get our 2 females that we've got here and put them into the animal trade center for storage right now. So they can just be looked after by our keepers for a second. There's another male on their way. So if I hit play, they will arrive very soon, I'm sure. And then we'll have 3. Oh, I think they're here. Yeah, okay. So then they'll have 3 males, which is fine for a bachelor size for these guys. They're happy with a male bachelor size of 3. So they'll be happy. But then we do need to get another female ring-tailed lemur and basically just swap it over so that we have, oh, there we go, 3 females. Right, well, we'll get them, send them to quarantine. When they've passed quarantine, we'll make the switch. What a mess. Oh my goodness, if only I could read, it would have been so much easier. And our deer is about to inbreed because we have a baby here. So this is one of their kids, isn't it? Yeah. These guys normally live in family groups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the daughter on contraceptives, and then they at least can't get pregnant and have babies. And then they should be fine, because then they shouldn't attract them either for mating. And that way the babies can stay with their mother as well. So you're also their daughter. So you're going to need to go on contraceptives too. They've just grown up. My goodness, all our babies. So now we've got 5 females and 1 male. Okay, cool. And our ring-tailed lemur has passed quarantine. So now we can send them into the habitat and send in our other 2 females. And then we're going to get rid of 2 of the 3 males that are in here. So we want to make sure we're on ring-tailed lemur. Who is the best male out of this? He's a bit better already. So I think this first one needs to go. If I can click on him, he doesn't want to leave. He's having such a great time. Okay. So yeah, you can be released into the wild. Or we can, we'll have to sell them to another zoo because we bought them with cash, but we can give them to another zoo. So it's this one or this one. Well, that one looks better across the board for genetics. So let's release this one into the wild if we can. It looks like we can't, so this one's going to go to the trade center as well. Right, and then we should be able to sell these to another zoo, quick trade them out. And we have 1 male and 2 females that are arriving very shortly. So hopefully this one doesn't get too lonely before they arrive. But we had to make the switch. And these guys should be getting their enrichment bonus as well. Yeah, they're getting a 20% bonus for sharing a habitat with another species that they like. Because there's 2 types of lemur in here. Well, let's put some nature in for these guys. And they all want tropical plants from Africa. I'm just going to check that it's the same for the ring-tailed lemur. Wherever they have run off to. There's black and white ruffed lemurs everywhere. Yes, they are the same. Tropical plants from Africa. And no! One of our bush dogs is about to die of old age. Snoop. No! It's the end of an era. Poor thing. Oh. No. Not in the water. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, I'm going to call the vet. He lived a good age, though. 17.2. That is a very good age. The poor thing. Forever in our hearts. So this is the list of African tropical plants in the game. But realistically, not all of these will grow in Madagascar because it's a very specific environment. So this is the sub-list of those trees and plants that will actually grow in Madagascar, where this natural habitat is that we're trying to recreate. And of that list of plants, this is the subset that could reasonably be grown in a temperate climate in North America, which is where this zoo is. So this is the list of plants we're going to be using to create this habitat here. And we've got this reward as well for breeding habitat species. We've got 2 new habitat species, which is perfect. Our lemurs. Oh, they've got a disease risk over here. Ah, but the keeper's already been called. So you should be okay. Just clean up their poop and we're all good. And it's absolutely crazy raining right now. Like, the rain is intense as anything. I feel like they could do with a couple more supports around here as well, generally. But generally, I think they're pretty good. Okay, and they also need some bedding, which I haven't put in there. Just before I put the nature in. And for this, I'm going to put this on random rotation as well. So we get some more interesting looking bedding. There we go. That seems pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. All right, let's put some nature in here. And unfortunately, none of the ones that are actually going to be able to be grown here are trees, but we've got a lot of like lower level plants. So I'm going to put all of those in, and then I have a plan for the trees. For now, though, let's add in the plants we've already identified can definitely be easily grown here. Okay, that's quite cool. And I think it's cool to have the like the water banana plants like submerged in the water, and it's just that this is where they drink from, but it's not a dedicated swimming area or anything. It's just what would probably be found in their actual natural habitat where these are thriving in the water. And that's actually reminded me, we don't have clean water here, so we need to make sure we put in a water treatment facility. I think this side is probably good because there's not much going on around here, so we can probably quite easily just whack in a water treatment facility here with a temperature regulator and then just hook them up like that and have a little path that comes under the cover over here. There we go. And now we just need to put a little staff path section like there, and they can't get through. Cool, so we've got this. I think we'll decorate that up a bit later because I want to just finish doing the stuff here. Oh, it does need power. That is the only thing, is if I put it on that side, it doesn't have power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab them both and just move them to the other side, actually over here. And it makes sense just, I mean, all of this is contained within the power of the entrance. I think it makes sense just to put them in here, actually. That works reasonably well. And then again, we just need a little staff path. Let's put one there. And no one's allowed to walk down this way. Okay, now these guys don't have any trees. They might be happy. Yeah, they're happy with the level of nature, but I'm not. And the reason we can't grow one of their trees, which is probably the most common one, the tamarind tree, is because basically it's too cold here. But it is already too cold for these guys, and we're going to have to put a load of heaters in. So I think as long as we don't use really young trees like this, and we use the more established trees, like these, and we put heaters in, I think reasonably we could have them in this habitat, and that would be like fairly realistic. So what I'm going to do though, is I'm going to put them in, and I'm going to make sure that the heaters are located around them. We're going to have like a few heaters placed around to make sure that the trees are warm enough, and that will also then heat up this whole habitat. So we're going to go with that. And these guys want 10 to 42 degrees. So I think, to be honest, 30 degrees isn't crazy to leave this at. So I'm going to put this on range 20 and 30 degrees. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to have these heaters placed around the trees. I think I'm going to have 2 for each tree. Even though I know, like, in-game, it's not going to do anything differently with 1 or 2 heaters. But it makes a lot more sense when you're trying to grow the trees. And it's something we don't normally do. But the heaters are going to be powered with solar panels anyway. And I think it makes sense to have a couple of these for each tree. Just so we can... I mean, we need to put something in for the lemurs anyway to make sure their temperature is fairly consistent. And I think this is a nice way to do it. And also give them some of the trees from home. Okay, that should be working now, and you can see this place is getting a lot warmer by the second as all those heaters go in. That's pretty good, I think. And their water may as well be like 25 degrees. Or 20 degrees is probably fine, because they want it to be a bit colder, don't they, if it's drinking water. You don't want it to be really warm. Well, at least I don't. I'm anthropomorphizing a little bit there, but I'm going to say that they don't either. And look at them. It's little ramps for them to run up as well and jump off. So hopefully that's a bit of fun for them. And it looks much cooler with the tamarins in here. I like the different elevations we've got in this habitat. I feel like that would be fun for them to like jump around this place. And yeah, hopefully they're enjoying it as much as I'm imagining they are. Look at them. Look at them just jamming out on the piano. We've got that little keyboard there. Go on, don't be shy now we're looking at you. You can do it. Have a little play. No, they're refusing now. They will not be watched. Oh, go on, go on. It's so cute. Very adorable. Well, now they're all in here, let's learn a little bit more about our lemurs. Like all species of lemur, the ring-tailed lemur is native to Madagascar and is not naturally found anywhere else in the world. Ring-tailed lemurs have a pointed muzzle, cat-like ears, and a long tail that has 12 or 13 white rings, 13 or 14 black rings, and a tip that is always black. They are usually between 39 to 46 centimeters in size, with a tail of 56 to 63 centimeters. And live in groups called troops that will travel and forage together. Ring-tailed lemurs are omnivorous and will eat fruits, leaves, insects, and most other food that they can find. The ring-tailed lemur's Latin name is Lemur cata. It is named for its cat-like looks. And as they have such a massive tail, the ring-tailed lemur's tail is actually longer than its body. Lemurs have specialized lower teeth that form a dental comb which they use for grooming. Ring-tailed lemurs also have specialized eyes that have an adaptive reflective layer in the retina that gives them excellent night vision. Male ring-tailed lemurs engage in stink fighting when in competition for females, and during this they drag their tails through strong scent-secreting glands that they have on their wrists and their shoulders, and then they waft their tails at each other. How amazing is that? Ring-tailed lemurs live in family groups of up to 30 individuals. The females are interrelated and the males migrate from their family group when they reach adulthood. Lemur troops spend daylight hours foraging for leaves and fruit and moving several kilometers a day. They're playful and friendly towards members of their own group, but they might be aggressive to other lemur troops. Ring-tailed lemurs are promiscuous, and both males and females will mate with multiple partners. Who mates with whom depends on the dominant structure within the troop, with low-ranking males unlikely to mate at all. Female lemurs will be pregnant for 4.5 months before giving birth to 1 or 2 babies. Infants will be carried by their mother until they're 6 months old, when they'll move around completely independently. Females remain with their mother's group for life, whereas young males leave their mother's group at 3 to 5 years of age in search for an unrelated group. They will move groups several times throughout their life. Unfortunately, the ring-tailed lemur is endangered, primarily due to deforestation, mining, and the creation of farmland which is destroying their habitat. They are also hunted for bushmeat and captured for the illegal pet trade. Madagascar can also have harsh weather conditions and extended periods of drought that can kill large numbers of their population. A special reserve called Beza Mahafali has been created to protect the lemur population and to educate the local community on conservation. The reserve also promotes ecotourism and takes part in drought intervention by introducing water sources during periods of harsh weather. But with only an estimated 2,000 left in the wild, the ring-tailed lemurs really need our help. The black and white ruffed lemur is a species of primate native to the eastern rainforests of Madagascar. As the name implies, its coat is made up of distinct black and white patches. The underside, head, paws, and tail are black, while the limbs, back, and distinctive ruff are white. Black and white ruffed lemurs are 50 centimeters to 55 centimeters long and have a tail that's around 60 centimeters long. Like in other lemurs, females are slightly larger than the males. Black and white ruffed lemurs also have scent glands on their wrists, which they use to rub on trees and mark their territory. A group of black and white ruffed lemurs is called a conspiracy, which is very cool. And despite their comparatively small size, black and white ruffed lemurs have the second loudest call of all primates. They're noisy little ones. Black and white ruffed lemurs are generally found high up in trees, foraging in the upper canopies of up to 35 meters high. Black and white ruffed lemurs are important to the ecosystem as they're pollinators. When feeding on nectar, pollen sticks to their dense ruff and face, which they will then carry on to other plants. Black and white ruffed lemurs are social animals that form a variety of different group structures. Group size usually varies based on food availability. Larger groups will split into smaller subgroups if resources become scarce. Females are dominant in this species, and in larger groups there may be communal nests into which multiple unrelated litters are placed and protected by all of the members of the group. How cool is that? The mating season of the black and white ruffed lemurs is between May and July, and females are only in estrus for a brief period of up to 3 days, with an even shorter window of up to 12 hours in which she will actually allow males to mate with her. Males will court females by approaching her with a lowered head and submissive shrieks, which she may respond to with roars, bites, and other aggressive displays, even when allowing him to mate. Pregnancies last around 102 days, after which the female gives birth to a litter of around 2 to 3 young on average. After birth, the infants are left in a small nest built and guarded by the parents, or a communal nest which is taken care of by all members of the group. Babies remain in the nest until they're 4 weeks old, when they'll start following their mother. Weaning occurs at this 4-month-old period, although it may last until the infant is 8 months old. Black and white ruffed lemurs reach sexual maturity around 2 to 3 years old, though they don't usually begin reproducing by this time. Males usually migrate to other groups, while females tend to stay in their natal group, although some animals do form and travel in pairs, which is also super cute. Unfortunately, the species is classified as critically endangered, with its population further decreasing due to poaching and habitat loss. They're frequently hunted by locals for their meat, while at the same time their habitat is fragmented further due to continuous deforestation for slash and burn agriculture. Currently, it's estimated that there's between 1 and 10,000 of these guys left in the wild, but we just don't know, and they desperately need our help. And I think that's enough for this video. We're going to carry this habitat on in the next video, so if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It really helps the channel out, and I'll see you in the next one.